I always remember being a hyperactive child and not sleeping till like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning and then waking up at 7 for school. And that used to be an everyday life for me. In graduation, I even remember staying up a lot, doing all my homework once all my roommates have gone to sleep, and watching the sun come up every day and just being so frustrated there. I even had to take a week or 2 weeks of leave of absence so that I could normalize my sleeping pattern. And since then I have learned a lot of things that you could do to make yourself sleep better. And today here at the Places You Fly, we'll be talking about 10 ways that you can sleep better. Keep watching.
Darling, you send me. I know you send me. Darling, you.
Let's talk about 10 amazing tips that I learned over the years that can help you sleep better. Tip number one. Now, this is something really different and it's a little out there, but for me, it has really worked, and that is to have a sleep timer based on your sleep cycles. So, this is something that was introduced to me just a few years back, wherein I had bought an MI band, and an MI band had an early bird feature where the band would automatically wake you up when you are at a light sleep stage, and it was working amazingly. So I researched a little bit more on it, and it turns out that whenever you wake up in your light sleep, it's always the easiest, and it doesn't make you feel groggy even if you have slept lesser. On the other hand, if you have slept even for a longer time, say 9 hours, 9.5 hours, and yet you wake up in the time when you're in a deep sleep, then it is really, really groggy. So how does it work? Usually your sleep cycle takes about 45 minutes. So from falling asleep to again coming back to a light sleep phase, you'll realize that there is about 45 minutes in the middle. So normally when people calculate the sleep cycles, they calculate them in 1.5 hour periods. So you sleep for 6 hours or 7.5 hours or 9 hours, and so on and so forth. So 1.5 hour cycles. It's not about how long you're sleeping, but how well you wake up. And you would have noticed this anyhow, somewhere in the early morning there is that time in your sleep where you are feeling fresher and more awake, and you are capable of getting up at that time, but you think that you have maybe half an hour or 45 minutes more to sleep, and you just continue sleeping, but you could have woken up at that time. That's the moment when you know that you're in a light sleep phase. There are a lot of apps out there which help you calculate this. You can calculate it yourself. You can assume you're gonna take say 10 to 15 minutes to fall asleep. It also depends on what your routine is before you sleep, so it totally depends on you, but an average person say takes 10 to 15 minutes to fall asleep. From there you calculate 1.5 hour or 90-minute rollovers. Obviously 6 hours, 7.5 hours of sleep is recommended, but if you are having such a situation where you'd be sleeping less, then it's just easier to wake up at 6 hours or 7.5 hours. If you can't get up at 7.5 hours, then it's better to wake up after 6 hours of sleep. You'll have 1.5 hours more in a day, and you will feel fresher than rather waking up at 6.5 hours or 7 hours, basically in the middle. I personally use sleepytime.me. It's a website which automatically calculates it for you. Brings me to point number two, trying to create a schedule. If you keep on waiting to fall asleep at the right time, to wake up at the right time, 9 times out of 10 that's not going to work. So you'll just have to take a call and get up really early one day so that you're tired enough to start falling asleep quicker that day. You're never going to fall asleep quicker first and then wake up early. Then start creating a routine around it. Try waking up every day exactly at the same time. You'll start sleeping exactly at the same time too. Then your body will start realizing that it's time for you to wake up and time for you to sleep automatically, and then you won't have to work on it. You'll wake up on your own. It'll just become easy after that. That brings me to point number three, have a night routine. Sometimes when you have a routine, your body and your mind starts realizing that this is the next step coming up. So if you have the same night routine every day, maybe wash your face, put on a night cream, or read a book, your body knows that it's time to sleep. So try and create a night routine Do it for a few days so that your body and your mind knows that it's time to sleep, and you yourself after that routine feel like, yes, it's my day is over and I want to sleep now. Sometimes we ourselves are not mentally ready to sleep, we don't feel like our day is over, and having the night routine is going to help you feel like. Number 4 is something which is not a technique but something that helps, and that is letting go. Sometimes it's just easier to let go of things that have happened to you that day, and many times we just lay asleep at night thinking about it, thinking about situations that could have. We all have been there where we have a dialogue with that person, or that in that incident where we always think like, I could have said that, or maybe this could have happened, and then that person would have said that to me, and then I would have said that to him. But the odd thing is that that has never happened, and that will never happen. It's all in our heads, and we just end up creating such a big drama in our heads and unable to sleep about it. We keep thinking about something that has already happened and we can't do anything about it, or we lay awake worrying about things that might happen in the future and that we have no power over right now. So the easiest way to not overthink at night is to try and understand that these things are in our head and there's nothing we can really do about them, and we need to let it go. We cross that bridge, or we do something about things when that happens, or we plan out a course of action if we expect something to happen over the few days. If you can't do or plan anything about it, then don't worry about it. If you can plan and work something out, get up tomorrow and plan something out. Stop worrying about it when you have to sleep. This is sort of a no-brainer, but it actually works, and that is, don't have coffee or caffeinated coffee, tea later in the evening. Don't have it after 3 or 4 o'clock in the evening. The caffeine in your body stays anywhere from 7 to 10 hours. So if you have had your last cup of coffee at 3, is going to stay in your system by 10, 11, or have decaf. Again, this next tip is sort of basic and as basic as it can get, but it does really help, is working out. When you work out, it not only gives you a sense of achievement for that day, it also obviously exhausts you and it helps you fall asleep. So it's as simple as that. Having achieved something in a day makes you feel like your day is over and you've done something, and it helps you sleep as well. So mentally and physical, exercising is a very beneficial way to fall asleep and of course get healthier. So it's like a double win. I've actually lost count of which point this is, but the next one is maintaining optimum temperature. So many of us have a habit of sleeping off with the AC on, or probably have a thick blanket on us. But either ways, when it's too cold or too hot, you do end up waking up in the night, and that causes sleep disturbances. You might know what works best for you, but try and experiment for a few days of keeping an optimum temperature in your room so that you don't wake up in the middle of the night when it's either too hot or too cold. This next tip is again related to probably waking up in the night because of other issues, and that would be drinking adequate amount of water. Not too little and not too much. When you're sleeping for the next 7 to 8 hours and not drinking water throughout the time, your body tends to start getting dehydrated. So it's really a very good idea to drink water before you fall asleep so that you do not wake up dehydrated. But it's also important to not have too much water so that you don't wake up in the morning when you have to rush to the washroom. That's an issue. Tip number 9 is listening to audiobooks or to meditation apps. So this is something that I have been doing for a really long time. The audiobooks is a newer habit, but I have been listening to sleeping apps for a really long time, and oddly they do help you fall asleep, but audiobooks help me fall asleep quicker. The reason being, when there's just music in the background or sleeping sounds, I do tend to start thinking and overthinking in the night. But when I'm listening to an audiobook, and an audiobook which does not have a lot of action in it, or it's not a thriller, it does help me fall asleep because I'm actively listening to it and I'm just lying on my bed and listening to that audiobook. And because I'm concentrating on listening to the audiobook, I'm unable to let my mind and my imagination run free. And slowly but surely, within the next 10 to 15 minutes, I am way past asleep. And of course, audiobooks help you to put a timer on it, so you can put a 15-minute or a 30-minute, 20-minute timer, and by the time you're asleep, your audiobook would have paused after that particular time limit. If you haven't ever tried audiobooks, you can try Audible. Audible is completely free for the first 1 month as a trial basis. You don't have to pay per book. You can get a membership. I get a free credit with my Amazon Prime membership every month. I have been using Audible for the last 2 years, and honestly, I have never had to buy a book separately. I have just been purchasing those audiobooks on my free credits that I get every month from my already existing Amazon Prime membership. That's amazing. So if you also want to get an Amazon Prime membership, I'm going to put the link below. You can get it for free for the first month. So go down into the description. There's a link below. Apply for an Audible membership. You won't regret it for sure. I haven't in the last 2 years. Point number 10, and this is a weird one, but I think a lot of people do it. It's to imagine that your body parts are falling asleep one by one. This is something my father told me when I had sleeping issues as a child, and he tried to help me fall asleep with this method. And I've also heard a lot of sleep hypnosis videos say these things as well, and that is that you should start imagining your body parts falling asleep one by one. So start with the toes and think that your toes have fallen asleep and you can't move them anymore, and start coming up. Usually before you even reach your head, you yourself are asleep. It doesn't work for me all the time because I'm not that patient, and I always move a lot when I'm sleeping, but it did help me a lot when I was younger. And to each his own, maybe you can try it out and it really works for you. So these are the 10 points that can really help you fall asleep, and try them out. Comment below if you have tried them out. Comment below if you have tried any of these out and they have worked for you in the past, or you plan to work any of these things out. Let me know if you have some other method that helps you fall asleep, and I can try that too perhaps and add them into my daily routine. So let me know. If you like this video, please press the like button and subscribe to stay updated to my new videos. You can also go and check out my other videos which are on lifestyle, travel and productivity. See ya!